Welcome to the fourth video of Philosophy of Research. In this video, we will be discussing about post-positivism in research. We have already discussed about epistemology, methodology, positivism, features of positivism in our last video. So in this video, we will be primarily looking into the post-positivism philosophy. So what it is all about, let's learn about it. Post-positivism does not mean slight adjustments or revision of positivist position. It is wholesale rejection of ideas, wholesale rejection of central tenets of positivism. Too much wordy. Let's simplify it. All I want to say is post-positivism is very, very different from positivism. That's what I want to say. How they are different, let's explore. The first point will tell you the difference. Under post-positivism era, there is no difference between scientific reasoning and common sense. They are essentially the same process. Though common sense could be described as loosely structured or lacking structure, whereas the scientific processes are very well, they are very much structured. Logics are very clear cut, the reasoning, the processes, the steps. So more or less it is much more organized, whereas common sense is loosely bound or it's unorganized. It's not that way organized. What's the difference? So maybe you go to a psychiatrist about to explain about the child's behavior, and he will use all scientific tools, methods, personality assessment test, questionnaire and all to derive some conclusion. You go to the kid's parents, and with their experience they will tell you the truth about the child, and the conclusions, interestingly, would be very much similar. That is why it is very interesting, post-positivism. I am not saying it would always be similar, but yes, I'm just saying, like, reaching to how do you approach, how you come to get the results, how you get the results through scientific temperament and through common sense. You actually are using essentially the same process or mechanism. Critical realism. Well, in post-positivism era, there is no deterministic world. The world is probabilistic, and we all perceive world. So there is a lot of perception which is involved. So that is why the reality would be independent of a person's thinking about it, that the science could study. Even people think that this is the way things are, but again understand that that way of thinking is again perceptual, and anything which is perceptual is fallible, right? Perception based, perceptual. So positivists were realist. They said that reality is real and it is deterministic. But post-positivists also believe in realism. But the only difference is that they are critical realist. When you say critical, when you add this word to realist, the meaning changes dramatically. The realist would believe that reality is real, apprehensible, we can know it for sure. There is 100% surety into our understanding. Whereas critical realist will remain skeptical, and he would say that all observation is fallible and has an error, and therefore you could never be sure about reality. That is, all theory is revisable. There would not be any instance when you will arrive at perfect theory. All theory is revisable, right? So there is always a possibility to go and turn the theory. Positivism says the goal of science is to uncover the truth. It means that for sure it knows what is the truth. That is why it is saying it is just a matter of uncovering it. Truth is defined. That is why the word deterministic. Whereas post-positivist would say is to hold steadfastly to the goal of getting it right about reality. Let's hold on to this. We will try to make an attempt to go close as possible to the reality, even if this goal is never perfectly achieved. This is what we have to understand. Because all measurement is fallible, one should not be sure about just one method and allow multiple methods and observations to define that reality and to arrive at and to discuss different kinds of errors which could creep in. Definitely there is a need to triangulate. What do you mean by triangulate? Triangulate means there are different sources. Source 1 has its own offering. Source 2 is also describing the same thing. So instead of trying to debate that S1 is better, S2 is better, let's try to bring everything on one plane and let's try to triangulate that if he has something to offer which is complementing this one and he has something else to offer which is so more like a bridge between the two. Triangulation is a wonderful way. You have multiple sources to get a better version of what's happening in reality. Even scientists may be inherently biased by their cultural experience. So, positivist position always believe that scientist is very much objective and free from all kinds of biasness. But post-positivist era identifies scientist as a human being, right? And just like every human being has certain biasness, even scientists are also not free from it. So they may run their cultural experiences, or their biasness could be colored by their cultural experiences. But one should not fear that there would be incommensurability. That means incompatibility. That two people having different perspectives and you cannot make them gel in, right? They would simply say you are having a different perspective, so there is no possibility of A talking to B because both having different perspectives. So basically positivists are constructivists who build, who believe that your view of world is based on your perception of it, and because it is perceptually crafted, it must be imperfect and therefore fallible. Positivists believe that objectivity is resided in individual scientist, whereas post-positivist rejects this idea. You could simply try to, objectivity is never achieved, but it can be approached. That's the best hope for it. Everyone is biased and all observations are affected, that is theory laden. So the best hope for attaining objectivity is to triangulate. The thing which I have said in the earlier slide also, you have to triangulate across multiple fallible perspectives. You come to a reality. The goal of science is to hold steadfastly to the goal of getting it right about reality. This is what it means. Even if this goal is never perfectly achieved, you know your limitation is still you work, acknowledging that limitation, you move on. And what helps? Triangulation helps. The best way to improve objectivity is to work into publicly. Share your ideas with the truth seekers or the scientific community all around the world. Tell them to criticize each other's work, and that is how that is contentious truth seekers. Welcome to that club. Whence your idea would be debated, and then you will come to know about the limitations. And definitely the ideas that survive intense scrutiny of this criticism, the ideas which actually have survival value, they are called the natural selection theory of knowledge. Something very similar to the survival of fittest that was given by Darwin. Today it is the natural selection theory of knowledge, the survival of the best ideas. So reflecting in this video, we discussed about post-positivist as constructivist, whereas positivist as realist, post-positivist as critical realist, who would be believing in reality, but yes, they would not be sure about it, that they always think that reality could be independent of our way of knowing it. This makes a lot of difference. All observations are fallible. Objectivity is never perfectly achieved, but it can be approached. And objectivity is a social phenomena. It is no longer into the realms of a scientist or an individual, but it is a social phenomenon. Even scientists could be culturally biased, and there is a need to triangulate from different resources. So this is what all in this philosophical episode of post-positivism. Hope you have liked this video. Even if you are not able to understand something or the other in this video, please bear with me. In days to come, you will gain more clarity on these topics. Subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.